Hey y'all, welcome to a special disaster edition of Level Up Cajun Style. We're starting a brand new series today, Keto Cajun. You're going to love it. So stick around. I'll talk about the disaster thing in just a minute. Here we go. Allons cuisiner. Hey y'all, welcome back from that short little intro. Appreciate you coming back. As I said, today is a special disaster edition, and that's because about a week ago, Hurricane Ida came blowing through South Louisiana and destroyed several small towns. In fact, you can see over here we have some water that's going to be shipped out later to help some people down there because many people have no running water or power. So that's Houma, Louisiana, H-O-U-M-A. Look them up if you can find a GoFundMe. Help those people out, they need it. In the meantime, we're starting a new series today called Keto Cajun. And today we're going to be making Keto Cajun Jambalaya. Now you say, Chuck, you know, how can you possibly do keto friendly? I mean, aren't there rice and carbs and all kinds of, yes, there is. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna show you how to make this jambalaya that has all the flavor of the great Cajun cooking with none of the carbs. You're gonna love it, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our fire going here. We're gonna get a nice hot fire happening. It's on medium-high heat. Not gonna take long to heat up. And the first thing we wanna do is we're gonna put in our proteins. Specifically our smoked sausage. This is Veyron's smoked sausage. It is their green onion smoked sausage, my favorite. And we're also going to do a little bit over a pound of what's called stew pork. Now, I put out a special version of this on TikTok the other day, and so I've done it once before. We're going to try it again. I think I learned a few little things to make it a little different, a little better. So the first thing we're doing now, we've got a hot pot going here. We're going to drop our sausage in there. Again, a pound of Veyron's green onion smoked sausage. And we're gonna let that dude heat up. Let me get my little spoon right over here. Yeah, I know it looks like rice, but it's not rice. All right, and now while this is getting hot, let's talk about some of the other ingredients we're gonna have here. Let's move this bowl out of the way because we already put our sausage in there. So we're gonna be having, so over here we got our shrimp, got about a pound of shrimp that I've already sauteed a little bit. And then we have about a little over a pound of stew pork, or stew meat we like to call it. It's already cubed up, good bit of fat, and that fat's going to be great for us. Let me stir this smoked sausage over here. And we have about 2 cups of our seasoning, which is our trinity. That's our onions, bell pepper, and celery. There's a little bit of red bell pepper, but mostly green bell pepper because we like it to be a little more savory, less sweet. Then we have the Worcestershire sauce, which we love to use. We have a little bit of cheap red wine. Now both of these are a little bit over 2 tablespoons, 2 flowing tablespoons. And then right here we have a little over a tablespoon of kitchen bouquet. That's for flavor and a little bit of color. And then right here we have our garlic, this minced garlic. All right, so we're going to brown our sausage. Here it's sizzling. That's the sound we want. All right, and while that's browning, we're going to go ahead and throw on top of that our stew pork. Oh man, this smells so good. That green onion sausage just makes it. You don't want to cook the patty. All right. So now we've got both our big proteins, our stew pork, and our smoked Veyron's green onion sausage. And we're going to brown this up really nice. Now while this is browning down a little bit, we're going to take a pause. We're going to grab some salt, which I forgot to mention. I'm telling you, a disaster, you guys. We're fighting hurricane relief rather. Going to throw a little bit of salt on there just to spice it up a little bit, season it up a little bit. Also going to make our meat sweat a little bit, sweat out some of that moisture. And when that moisture is in the bottom of the pot, that's where the flavor is. And now all the fat on this pork is cooking down, it's reducing down into the bottom of this pot, and it's going to be a veritable cornucopia, is a big word for you, cornucopia of flavor. Now before you keep getting on my behind about what's my level up, we're doing Keto Cajun, for goodness sake. That is my level up, okay? So just take a chill pill. But check, how's it going to be keto friendly without all the carbs? You just have to wait and see. Okay, so lower the heat down just a little bit and start excavating, removing a lot of this, all of this really protein out of here. Now, see all that drippings in there? All that, what you might call grease? We look at that and call that flavor. Don't you love when a plan comes together? This bowl is the perfect size. All right, now while my heat is still on, we're going to take our 2 cups of Trinity, put that in there. Oh, it's warm in here. And the water, the moisture that's in these vegetables, you can see it steaming out, is going to help me deglaze all this flavor off the bottom. See, it's starting to come up. Look right there, and that's all flavor, guys. That's not burnt, that's flavor. And to help that a little bit, we're going to deglaze that with a little bit, about 2 tablespoons of cheap. I mean cheap, the cheapest red wine is the best. We'll drop about 2 tablespoons of red wine in there. And that alcohol is going to help that deglaze. Now don't panic, because that wine is not hurting anything. The alcohol will eventually cook right out of there, and we're going to be left with that heavy red wine flavor. And that's why we use the cheap red wine, because it's got a very vivacious, very vibrant flavor to it. Okay? So we're just going to cook this guy down. Now, you notice that red wine was red, right? But you look at the juice we have in there, that's not red. That's brown, because all that good flavor that was stuck to the bottom has been now released by that red wine. It's now cooking in the vegetables. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our Trinity here, and we're going to cook it on a pretty high heat. And what we're looking for is our onions to go a little bit brown and to start turning translucent. Now you notice we are getting less and less of a look here at our fluids, at our juices, because the onions and the bell peppers and the celery are all absorbing that. Now as this cooks down a little bit more, we're going to also add our garlic. Now why do we add our garlic? Well, if you've seen me cook before, you know we put the garlic in last when we're doing our vegetables, our seasoning blend, because garlic has a low smoke point. What does that mean? That means that if you are not careful, you will burn the garlic. Now see, that is very dry. We don't see a lot of moisture in there anymore. So now that's getting close to being ready, close to being done. See how the onions are now starting to turn brown, a little translucent. All right? We're going to take our about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, drop that right in there, and begin to mix that in. And then once we get that nice and mixed in, our next step is going to be reintroducing those proteins. So just as a recap, we got our pork stew meat. We have our smoked pork sausage from Veyron's, which is green onion flavor. It's my favorite. We get them nice and browned. Now we're sauteing our vegetables, our Trinity, which is like a mirepoix. Mirepoix is onions, celeries, and carrots. But here in Louisiana, we use something called the Trinity, which is onions, celery, and bell pepper. Typically green bell pepper, although we do use a little bit of red from time to time. And if we really want a sweeter flavor, we use a lot of red and a little bit of yellow. But since the jambalaya is supposed to be a little more savory, we're going with that. With green, I should say. Now, we're going to take about a pound of shrimp. We're going to dump pretty much all that in there. Maybe leave a little bit for the chef for later. And we put the shrimp in there first because it's going to cook the fastest. And we want to make sure to get it introduced to all that garlic and all those vegetables. And I don't know if you can tell by the way this looks on camera, but I tell you what, once again, this is television. Thankful it's not smell-o-vision, because you would be trying to climb through that camera into your computer to get a hold of this stuff. This is amazing. The smell in here, the aroma in here, guys, is incredible. All right, now that that's fairly cooked down, we're going to come in here and we're going to reintroduce the rest of the proteins, which is the pork. See all the juice coming out of there? All flavor, guys. Come on. It's okay for the chef to touch it. I'll wash my hands. All right? Now we're going to stir this concoction together. Now, while I'm stirring, just a quick note, we want to give our deepest sympathies to everyone that was in the field of Hurricane Ida, or eventually what became Tropical Storm Ida, because our friends up in the north, Jersey and Pennsylvania and New York especially, you guys got the water. We got the wind down here. I believe Ida, if I'm not mistaken, came ashore as a strong Category 4 storm, which was the strongest storm coming on record, I think since 1850 something maybe. So all you guys that are watching from down south Louisiana or even up in the north, our prayers, our thoughts are with you. And in South Louisiana, for those of you who still don't have power or water, hang tight. We're going to be bringing down some friends. We're going to be doing some cooking for you. We got some barbecue that's going to be coming down. And I'll tell you what, let's do this. Right now, supplies for us are very limited in terms of our spices. So it's really hard for us to get our spices and things because they all come from South Louisiana. But in order to help out even more than we already are trying to help, all sales of our products, all the profits from our sales for our products for the entire rest of the month of September are going to go directly to Hurricane Ida relief. And they'll be buying things like water, like diapers for folks who have children that can't get the basic needs taken care of. We're going to be getting cleaning supplies. We're going to be getting all kinds of things as part of this just to try to help, because I may add some pictures in here, guys, from some of the things down that way. You can see what it looks like. It looks like a war zone. It looks like a war zone. In my city, buildings that are 100 years old and more, brick faces were ripped off, trees downed on power lines, roofs ripped off so that what little was not completely damaged by floodwaters coming in got rained on because the roofs were gone. It is literally a blue tarp city down there right now because there are blue tarps on roofs to keep them. I think the number was somewhere around 60% of the structures in Houma, or around Houma, Louisiana, Terrebonne Parish, down Cut Off and Golden Meadow and all those places. I love you guys. Sorry this happened. Are either condemned or just straight uninhabitable. That's how bad things are. So in your nightly prayers, please remember the people of Terrebonne Parish, and especially my hometown of Houma, H-O-U-M-A, Louisiana. Okay, this is kind of coming together really nicely, looking nice and homogeneous, smelling fantastic. I'm going to add one more little thing. I'm going to add my Worcestershire sauce. Now, again, people say W sauce, Worcester. It's Worcestershire. And you think of it like this. Say, what's this here sauce? Worcestershire sauce. All right? We're going to put that right on top. Just put that in. We're going to get a little on the table. If we don't spill any, it's bad luck. All right? Now, the reason we heat this so long is because it's important that the meats, the proteins, the shrimp, all that stuff, ruminate, marinate together with the vegetables. And so all those flavors combine, and together they are stronger than the sum of their parts. It's what just makes this fantastic. Okay? Now, the pièce de résistance. What are we doing? Sorry guys, it's hot in here. What are we going to do to substitute, because we're not putting any rice in here. It's Keto Cajun, right? Well, right over here is the level up. This is cauliflowered rice. It's a vegetable, 100% vegetable. And now that we got this cooked down, we're going to add this right over the top. This is about 40 ounces of cauliflower rice. And we're going to stir it in just like it's regular rice. Now, typically, when we're making a jambalaya, typically what we would do at this point in time, before we add the rice, we would put our chicken broth in here and use a 2-to-1 ratio chicken broth to rice. So instead of making putting 6 cups of chicken broth in here, we have put 3 cups of rice in here, a little over 3 cups of rice, to mix with all of our proteins. And you can see that's starting to come out really, really nicely. The cauliflower doesn't really absorb the colors and the flavors as much as rice does, which is why we're not putting as much fluid in here, because we also don't want the cauliflower rice to get mushy. But you can see it's taking on our general appearance of what would be rice in jambalaya. Now, the last time I made this, and trying to get the recipe right, we set aside all the protein and just let it sit while we cook the rice. I went ahead and cooked the rice in advance here, and we'll show you that process. What we did was, we took a little bit of EVOO, extra virgin olive oil, put it inside a skillet. We defrosted the cauliflower rice, and once it was done, it was full of liquid because it was frozen. So we got rid of all the excess water, and then put it in a skillet, and then into the skillet, put it on medium heat, and fluffed the cauliflower rice. Now, what do I mean by fluff? I mean taking it up and scooping it up and around. Taking it up, scoop it up and around. We do that because it's a vegetable, right? And the more fluid it has around it, if you stir it hard too much, you're going to make it mushy. And that kind of ruins the texture of the jambalaya, and it just doesn't work. All right? Now, you may say, Chuck, this is still not quite as dark as the jambalaya we're used to. Well, guess what? Right here, we have a little over a tablespoon of kitchen bouquet. And we're going to use the kitchen bouquet right over the top. Sprinkle it around a little bit because it's going to help us get our color more like a traditional jambalaya should be. All right? Go ahead here. Mix that in really good. And see how they're starting to get that nice brown jambalaya color? I got rice popping out of here. It's all right. Again, if you don't spill a little bit, if you don't spill just a little bit, it's bad luck. And this way, any puppies you got running around the house, the puppies will be able to get some too. Gotta feed the puppies. Now look at that color, guys. Does that not look like a traditional jambalaya? And I promise you, when we get in here and taste this thing, it's going to taste very, very similar. So if you give me just 1 second, we're going to clear this mess up. We're going to plate a little bit and then give it a taste, okay? But how about your keto-friendly Cajun jambalaya? Part 1 of our series called Keto Cajun. We're going to be doing all kind of other keto-friendly recipes so you get all the flavor of the Cajun food without all the carbs. And by the way, before we start shutting this down and plating it up, I want to ask you, please subscribe to our channel. You see a little subscription button down, a little red button. Please subscribe to our channel because we do not want you to miss a single recipe, especially during this Keto Cajun series, okay? All right. Okay, y'all, so here it is, Keto Cajun Jambalaya, keto-friendly Cajun Jambalaya. We have substituted cauliflower rice, that's kind of our level up. Our cauliflower rice substituted for our regular rice, and it's got all the look and the flavor of regular jambalaya, traditional jambalaya, but all the carbs, for the most part, cut out. Please subscribe to our channel. Look right down there. Hit that subscribe button because we have at least 5, maybe 6 more shows of keto-friendly Cajun meals. All the flavor of Cajun food with none or very little of the carbs. Don't miss the series. Subscribe. Appreciate that. In the meantime, thank you all for stopping by. Remember, all the profits from our sales for the entire month of September, CajunCookingNetwork.com, all of our profits from our sales are going to go to help the people down in Terrebonne Parish, Louisiana, who are struggling with no power, no water. And please keep them in your prayers. We thank you for stopping by. God bless you. God bless America. God bless this food because we're about to eat it. And come on back next week for some more keto-friendly Cajun cooking right here on Level Up Cajun Style with me, Chuck Bush. I love cuisine.